420 special.
What happened?
Mine's panel show, 420 special. You want to join? Don't have to smoke. We'll start in 1 hour. Have faith.
Okay. So, have faith. Do we move on to our next topic about weed? No.
I mean, I can talk about it, but
Don't you just smoke weed?
what does it have to say?
Hey, don't remind me. I'm the only one not downstairs celebrating right now.
Oh yeah, some people.
Oh, just roommates.
Oh, okay.
It's not like it's much of a celebration. It's a daily thing.
Yeah. You know, that's something I've always found weird, and I've kind of like slowed down on everything, but especially back when I was like maybe always smoking and drinking, and I always do this for my parties too. I always found it weird that, especially with me and my friends, like almost every day we would kind of like smoke or drink, and then they'll be like, "Oh, let's go celebrate. Let's go to a bar." And I'm like, "Dude, we go to the bar all the time. Like, let's do something different." So like, I would like purposely do something different than what everybody else was doing. For instance, on my birthday, I would never go to a bar. I would like always like do something chill, and then but I always would find it like, so they want to celebrate by doing something like extra special, but they do the same thing that they do every day. Like, you know, we always every weekend we go to a bar or to a club. Like, how's that like celebrating? And then so the same thing too, like St. Patrick's Day. I would like, I don't want to be like everybody else and like go get drunk at a bar. Like, I'm just gonna stay home and smoke weed. But I would like want to do something different because I'm always like, I don't want to be like the herd. I want to purposely go against it. But even that's like a template, right? But yeah, I always found that funny. When my friends would be like, let's go celebrate. Okay, it's my birthday. Let's go do something crazy. Okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to the club. You mean the club that we go to every weekend? Okay, that's fine. It's like, let's go on a road trip. Let's go to San Francisco. Let's go out in the desert and take some mushrooms. That's celebrating. I'm not going to some stupid bar. Yeah, I have these mini debates with my friends.
Yeah, to me it's not really a special day. I mean, it's fun they have the full day of like celebrating weed and whatever. Like, well, I can just go to the store and buy some. I mean, it's not special at all for me.
Yeah.
That on its own is kind of special. But
Yeah. It's funny too, because especially like here in California, it's like quasi-legal. Like, it's everywhere. You could go to a shop easily. I mean, I don't even have a medical card, and I remember in Venice, I went to a shop and bought weed, and no problem. It's just so funny how people are sometimes about it. I mean, I'm all for smoking weed. I love weed. I smoke weed. But it's funny how, and like what you were saying, like you could go to the store, like, you know, it's been legal there where you are forever, right? And it's just how you make something forbidden and people go kind of like turn it into something that, you know, like make it a little bit more than what it really is, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I was just gonna say, yeah, part of why, you know, this whole 420 blaze it, you know, kind of culture started is because you told all these people no. You told all these people no, you're not allowed to smoke a plant, and a lot of people don't want to listen to authority to begin with, and especially when it's something that small and something that restrictive and something that is totally their choice. You know, it's definitely become a very big part of rebellion. And in my personal perspective, I mean, I smoke wax all the time. I'm past flower, but it's definitely shutting a lot of people up. You know, the people that would generally be the critical thinkers that just fall into that stoner culture and get really caught up in blazing it, man, and just being kind of stoned all the time and asking non-constructive questions and talking about more I don't even know the word, but you know that stoner talk where they kind of go off on a tangent and
Where
you don't dedicate it to anything real, kind of thing. power's fine with that. They're going to be fine with you getting lost in that.
And I think that's part of why there is that like cartoon, like you fall into that cartoon image of a stoner. And especially maybe from my experience with my friends and with me personally, I never necessarily was like that. I mean, maybe a little bit, and I didn't start smoking until after high school. But I noticed too that they fall into like, oh yeah, man, like Dazed and Confused. What is that other one? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and they are actually that Spicoli character where they're like dumb and this and that. And I remember I had this like discussion with my uncle, and he's like, "You smoke weed?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like drinking, right? And he's like, "I don't smoke weed." And he's like just like ragging on smoking weed. And I'm like, dude. Like then I was like, that's fine, but he's like, doesn't it make you dumb? And I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because I'm like, you're talking to me, like, because I always talk like how I talk with you guys, like about whatever, like all sorts of crazy shit. But I'm like, I told him, look, weed is not gonna make you, like, it doesn't necessarily change you that much. Like, okay, if you're already dumb or you're ready to don't or not curious, weed's not gonna magically make you a genius, and vice versa. If you're like smart and intelligent, magically smoking weed's not gonna make you dumb and retarded. I mean, it's gonna, it kind of either enhances or inhibits your already like natural leanings. It doesn't like transform you, but it could emphasize certain aspects of you. Like for instance, what I was gonna say, fuck, I forgot. Man, not even stoned. But I always have that conversation because I remember it's like, dude, you have no idea that like some of the smartest people in the world and have discovered stuff smoke weed. It's like, and then I started like ranting off like John F. Kennedy smoked weed, and I'm like, all these people, they smoke weed and they're successful, because he was talking about how like, oh, you're not gonna be motivated to do anything. I'm like, shh, that's dumb too.
Well, yeah, well.
I mean,
I would say that's yeah.
I mean, at times, yeah, but it all depends of like where you view where your productivity is. Like, I for one, that sometimes it depends where. Like, okay, if I'm working really hard after the end of the day and I smoke weed, yeah, I just kind of want to zone out. But if I'm like want to enjoy the day and I smoke weed, then I get like involved more so than like say whatever task I'm doing, and it enhances like my focus sometimes. Sometimes too, I gotta watch it depending what strand I smoke, and I get started in writing or thinking or doing an art project because I'll stay up for like 3 days and not sleep, and I'm like, oh my god, like weed's supposed to make you tired, and like, but once you kickstart that brain, like it makes you have different associations at times, but you know, it's all depending on what you put into it and what your mindset is already beforehand, and it's not like some magical thing prior to that. But definitely, I don't like that whole image of a stoner. I mean, that's so retarded.
No.
Chemical makeups aside, drugs, in my opinion, are filters. And some filters work for people in ways that are effective for their goals, and some don't. Some filters affect you negatively and can create worse problems for you. You know, some people get high for the first time or the first few times and they have crazy anxiety, or they get really upset, or it affects their moods. And one, I'd say that's another thing with the strain. Different strains do different things, but it's also your environment and your mindset. Like with any other drug, that you know, you have to kind of understand what you're going into, accept what's happening, but also you can't let
You need to do if you took too much.
Yeah, you can't let like stereotypes affect you though. Kind of the good example is when you're gonna try acid for the first time and your friend's like, okay, but no matter what you do, just don't pretend your head's an orange and you're trying to peel it.
But
That's what I'm gonna think about. And you know, when I smoke weed, you think, oh, I'm gonna be tired, I'm gonna go relax. You know, if that's what you're doing to do it, that's a thing, but if you expect that every time, if you think this is what it's going to do to me, you don't leave yourself any options, I guess.
And it's not only with drugs, it's with almost everything, but I guess it's more apparent with drugs. And especially Leary was, I think, the first one to coin these phrases that make these distinctions. It's the set and setting. So set is like your mindset, whatever you have baggage going into the experience, and whatever preconceptions you have going into it. And setting is your environment, or the environment that you're in. And I mean, all the time when I tell anybody, when they take any kind of psychedelics, especially like mushrooms and this and that, and I tell them, just make sure you're in a safe place. Like, I wouldn't recommend, like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the club, or I'm gonna go to a rave and do some mushrooms and this and that, and I'm gonna go to Vegas and take the mushrooms. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I would not advise that. Like,
don't do it, man. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like it is not gonna work the way you think it's gonna work. And I always weary to tell people too. I kind of like necessarily like tell them, hey, look, it's a powerful experience. I don't want to tell them too much about mushrooms, as far as like I don't want them to have like I set up like a situation where like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I do give them kind of like guidelines or warnings, like I wouldn't recommend doing this, or you should kind of be like, I wouldn't even do it with like a lot of people around, like even do it with like people that you feel really close to, like 4 or 5 people. Do it in nature where you're safe. Okay, go.
I think that's with every kind of drug. I mean, you can't go somewhere or have a lot of people around you don't really know when you're experiencing something new, you know? Even with weed or alcohol or whatever, it's if you don't know what you need to do, if you're going bad, then it may seem like you're gonna die or something.
Yeah, it's always so funny to like smoke with someone that doesn't necessarily smoke, and how they react to it. I'm always kind of like fascinated on it. I remember this one time, this one guy, we were smoking with him, and I think 2 days before that, we went to a midnight showing of watching Donnie Darko, and then he was sitting on the couch, and he was like, "Whoa, I think I just time traveled." If you ever seen Donnie Darko, it's about like time travel and this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, dude, are we smoking the same thing? Like, what did you take? He's like, nah, I think I time traveled. And I'm like, what? Okay, explain to me what you're saying. He's like, you don't fit, you didn't do that? You're like, this didn't happen to you? I was like, no, but please explain what you're saying. He's like, no, it just seemed like for 1 minute, like no time was passing, and then all of a sudden, like it was like 20 minutes later, I think I time traveled. It's like, oh no, you're just like, time just is slowing down for you, like your perception. You didn't time travel. Like, that's it. Like, you're stoned, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're engrossed in whatever activity you do, and you don't even have to be stoned to do this. I think we're talking about being in the moment, where like, you know, you're so focused, you kind of like are not paying attention to the clicking of time, but whatever you're engrossed in. And then when you get out of that moment, 20 minutes, I mean, you may think it's 1 minute, but like 20 minutes have passed, or in a lot of cases, especially if you're working on anything that you're really focused on, you could lose track of time. Like, you lose track of time. Like, I do it a lot of times when I'm writing or working on a project. I'll sit down, I'm like, I'm going to only do 20 minutes of editing, and the next thing I know, it's like 4 hours later. I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? It's like dark outside. Like, I think I should stop editing, but you get engrossed in the moment. And I was like, you didn't time travel? What the hell are you talking about? Time travel. Okay, Donnie Darko. That was so fast.